Hi, everybody. Before we get to another great interview, please do me a favor and subscribe. It would really help us out. Now, let's get to that interview. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I am so excited today. I've got writer, director, producer Shomari Love with me. So welcome, Shomari.
Thank you, Michael. Thanks for having me.
I think Shomari Love is probably the best Hollywood name that I've interviewed so far.
I appreciate the compliment, man. I appreciate that.
That's a name that you remember.
Yeah.
You know, other than, like Mike Wall, I couldn't be an actor. I'd have to change that. You're not going to.
You never know. It could work. It could work.
It only works if you have to be really famous for it to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So I wanted to ask you, so my stepkids, my stepdaughter and stepson were both in the, let me think of the name of it, Cincinnati Tradition Drum Corps. Okay. And you're a drummer or a percussionist.
Right.
Yeah. Were you in a drum corps as well?
Yeah, I was. That's really cool. It's funny because growing up, I joined the drum corps. I want to say I had to be at least 12 years old, right? So maybe like 7th grade or so. But I remember I was a part of a drum corps, Linden Light Bearers, based out in Queens, New York.
Yeah.
And we would travel often, and we get to play with other drum corps and compete against other drum corps. But I don't think we ever made it as far as Cincinnati. So it's cool to hear that you guys have drum corps out there around that way.
It seems to me, though, that I have seen the Light Bearers perform. Because did you go to some of the competitions? They'd have the drum corps competitions, and Cincinnati Tradition. We're in West Virginia, and them and their father, who is also a percussionist, would drive to Cincinnati every weekend for practice. But then they travel around and do the shows. But I know we saw them a few times up in Pennsylvania. So maybe up there, maybe you guys, the Light Bearers came down. I don't know. All of those groups are amazing.
Yeah, man, we pretty much, we primarily were like in the Northeast. A lot of the displays were in the Northeast.
Yeah. I think that's pretty cool. I'm always amazed with musicians like my stepson. He picks up an instrument. You give him 20 minutes, he can play it. He can play it. So when he joined the drum corps, he went to play drums, but they had tons of people playing drums. So they're like, well, can you play a trumpet? Well, he'd never played a trumpet, but he picked it up, and that's what he played with, a trumpet.
Wow. That's a gift, man.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty crazy. But now you got to do some drumming in Black Panther.
Yeah. That was so that was in the traditional drumming, right? So it's funny because that opportunity brought me back to my roots, because when I first started playing as a kid, I started off playing African drums.
Oh, right? Nice.
It was only as I got older, then I got into percussion, got into the marching snare, etc. But Black Panther was an opportunity to go back to the roots, playing the African drums, the djembe. I actually learned an entirely new drum in working on that project. So
that's pretty neat. I mean, that's one of those bucket list movies. Like you want to be in that no matter what the role is, just to say you were in it.
Hands down. I was completely satisfied at that point in life. Like whatever happened next, I was good. Yeah.
Have they called you up for Black Panther 2?
No. So that call that call did not come in. I think it's a bunch of things with scheduling and stuff, but that call didn't come in.
Did you get to meet Chadwick?
Yeah, man. He was. It's funny because Chadwick's one of his closest friends was our musical coordinator. On the film. So we spent every day with him, and as an extension, we would see Chadwick often. He was just a great example, great role model, just a great person to be around, man. So rest in peace to him for sure.
Yeah, everything that I've heard about him is that he was exactly like you think he was. He was just a good person.
Yeah, good heart, very humble person, man.
Yeah, that is such a loss. I've got a quick funny story I'll tell you. I interviewed an actor a couple of years ago, and this was probably around when he passed, but he'd worked with him on a show called Lincoln Heights. Okay. And so they knew each other enough that they had exchanged phone numbers at some time, but they didn't really run around together after the show because Chadwick got kind of big after that. But he had the same name as somebody that was very close with Chadwick. So Chadwick was always accidentally texting him stuff, like, hey, I'm coming over, or you going to be there tonight and stuff. And then, he'd have to tell him,
it wasn't him. Yeah, it's not me.
Well, it's not me.
I would love for you to come hang out, but yeah, it's not me.
It's like, I'm 8 hours away, but I can jump in the car right now. I thought that was pretty good. So Shomari, let's start this way. Talk a little bit about, I know you had a musical background, but talk a little bit about what got you into the entertainment business. Why did you want to become an actor?
Yeah, man. It's a great question. It's like when I get that question, it's like, it's a great question. I love it because every time I get that question, my mind's eye paints the picture, like what happened? How did this happen? Like we're here, but it was never something that was a part of the plan originally, right? Yeah. I'd never imagined that I'd be in TV shows or movies one day, right? That wasn't it. I went to school. I got a degree in like political science and business. Started working in corporate, and I felt like I could be doing more. I had a talent. I had a different skill set that I wasn't using, and I always liked a challenge, and I always like to accept challenges. I told myself, like, listen, I don't know how this is gonna work, but I got to give it a shot. I got to try it out, and we'll see what happens. But I'm gonna put my best foot forward, and I just took that step, man.
I mean, good for you for having the courage to do it, because most of us don't. A lot of people feel that way. It's like, this isn't really what I want to be doing, but I put so much into it, right, so I'm gonna stick with it. But you took that leap.
Yeah, but I love it. I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I've always been a student of arts and of the art, right? Especially with acting. So I've always admired and looked up to certain performers in the way that they portray certain characters.
Yeah.
So in a way, for me, it's like, yes, I did take a step forward and try something different and something new, but it's kind of like homage to those individuals as well. It's like they dedicated a certain amount of time to the craft, yeah, to perfect it and to give us the art that we love. And so if I can make a contribution towards that, this is my chance. So why not?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. So did you do theater through high school?
I did literally, I think, 2 productions in high school. I did 2 productions in high school. But you know what it is, though? I'm an advocate for education, right? So when I started, the first thing for me was like educating myself. So of course, I started with a class, but I started reading material, reading stage plays and things like that to fully acclimate. That's what it was. So the only productions, the closest I've been to production were the 2 in high school, and then the plays that I actually read, and I felt like I was in them. So
I love that, because so when you decided to go into it, you were fairly new to it then. You didn't have a ton of a lot of actors, they're at least in it through high school and then kind of go into it.
No, I wouldn't say I had a drama my only background in drama was just real life. I was able to pull from real life experiences. I found myself reading different, auditions and reading the stories of different characters. And I'm like, you know what? I can relate to this person. let me try to pull from something that I might actually understand and relate to this character. That was it.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty good. Well, how about sports? Did you play sports through high school?
Yeah, that I did. So I was active in sports. Always been a basketball fan. So I played basketball. I ran track. What most people don't know is I actually played volleyball for one season. Nice. Yeah, man. I wish I would have kept up with it, because had I known the opportunities available for college volleyball players, I probably would have no student loans at this point.
Yeah, they didn't have men's volleyball when I was in high school. Of course, that's been decades ago, but they have women's, but not men's. But I love volleyball. I totally would have played or tried to.
That's what I'm saying. So you see that. So from when you were in high school to when I had entered that volleyball program, because it was such a new thing to have men's volleyball teams, it was like, here's scholarship money. Here, we want people to come join these programs. And I was like, I was too blind to notice that.
Yeah, that would have been really good. What was your track events?
So I high jumped, which is
that's not easy.
Cool thing.
Yeah,
it wasn't easy, but that was my main thing was high jumping. But of course, I did relays. I did the 200, 400 as well. So I sprinted as well.
Yeah, I was I was fast enough to be on the relay teams, but I was the slowest guy on the relay teams.
You know what? I think I can resonate with that. That might have been me. I can honestly say that might have been me, man. You're not alone.
Did you run second a lot? Because that was like for us, they put the slowest guy running second. I guess I could do the least damage there.
It happened at times. I mean, I did get my shot running first at times, and then I think I did anchor a few times, but I wasn't always the first person. The second came up a few times.
Yeah. Now I did anchor the 400. That was my event. Okay. So I was decent at that one. So I would get to anchor that one. I don't think it was a smart decision on their part, but I did anchor it.
Did you ever get to travel for track? Did you ever go to meet?
Back then we didn't really travel. I mean, we'd travel around the state, but we wouldn't go outside the state. They just, there's so many more opportunities, the travel squads and stuff, or striders, or, the summer track leagues and stuff. They just weren't around back then.
Got it.
Yeah. It's probably a good thing. There's no way I was fast enough to do that.
You know what? I had in my mind that because like my family background, most of my family is Jamaican. So funny story, and everything happens for a reason. My track team competed in the 400 at Penn Relays. You remember Penn Relays?
Yeah. Now that's legit.
I didn't compete. I was an alternate. And I was really, really angry about that. Not angry, but I was a little bit disappointed. But had I not been an alternate, I wouldn't have had the chance to meet Usain Bolt. He happened to be there that year.
Oh, no way.
Right. So because I wasn't entering with the team where the registration was, and the coach and I went the other way to the galley, I met Usain Bolt. I'm like, oh yeah, I'd rather this than running any day. This is perfect.
Did you challenge him to a race?
Yeah, right. Come on, man. I just say, what's up, man? My family's Jamaican too, man. It's great seeing you here. You're one of my inspirations, and kept it pushing.
If you were racing him in a 400 and he gave you a 200 meter head start, could you win?
Then or now?
Now.
Now?
I'm not even sure I could race 400 now.
I'll try my best. I'll give it a best shot. I don't know if I'll win, but I'll try my best to win for sure.
I always thought I was kind of fast, and then my oldest, when she turned like 13, she decided she was going to go out for track. So I was like, all right, I'll run with you. So we ran a little race, and she smoked me. And I was like, oh, I must have stumbled or something. I was like, I did something wrong. Maybe I wasn't warmed up. I was like, let's do it again. Well, she beat me worse the second time. And I was like, all right, wow. I'm officially
you know what, right? It's a muscle memory thing. Like, remember like those days when we were running track, practicing every day, doing umpteenth amount of laps.
That's it.
You stop that, everything changes. Your body doesn't even recognize that mechanic.
No, you can really hurt yourself if you try to go run. You can run a while. You can snap some stuff.
That's how I feel. That's how I feel when I play pickup games at the gym. It's like, what am I doing right now?
I did the Y thing, the Y League thing with for a while up through my 30s. And then I was getting close to 40, and there's guys, the majority of them are half my age and in way better shape. And I was like, I'm going to end up getting hurt. So I was like, I'm done.
Yeah, you got to tread lightly, man.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. It's one thing to rehab when you're getting paid to do it. But if you get hurt yourself and you got to just live your life, that's no fun.
Oh man, I should have just stayed home.
Yeah, I'm not going to. Well, I played in a game and a guy snapped his Achilles, and he was probably a couple years younger than me, and I was like, okay, I'm done. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's not. I've seen that happen before. That's not a good.
That's an awful to watch. Yes. Oh, it was terrible. It was terrible. Yeah, it was awful. So we loved you in the Chi.
The Shy.
The Shy, sorry. Yeah, yes. I told my wife that, and she's like, "It's Shy, dumbass." And I was like,
"You know what it is?
No.
Phonetically, it sounds like that. So you had it phonetically."
Yeah, and that's my problem with that. People that watch the podcast know I'm always screwing that stuff up. But anyway, we watched. It was like we didn't watch it when it came out. We binged it over the pandemic when we were all locked up. So we got to see it all, one after the other. Man, loved it. I thought you were one of the best parts of it when you showed up. Really, really good. Love that character.
Thank you so much. I got a lot of great feedback about that character. That process in itself was a very fulfilling process as an actor in terms of the preparation going into that type of character, and then on the day of when you have to do the job, it's like, all right, this is real. And this has to be as authentic as possible because millions of people are gonna watch. So,
well, and it's a great cast.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, the cast was great.
Yeah. That was one of those.
The whole team.
Yeah, that's just one of those shows that I'd always seen it, and I was like, I'm gonna check that out one of these times. And then we're looking for shows to watch, like everybody was, during that several months we were stuck at home, and we got on that one, loved it. That was one of the best ones we watched over that summer. It's great.
Nice, man. Thanks for watching.
Yeah, it was really good. That's the one. There was two of them. So when they contacted me and they said, Shomari wants to come on, I was like, oh, I know who that is. So that was one of them. And then the other one was you were a lieutenant on Black Lightning.
Yeah, Black Lightning was cool, man. That was my first time working on a network. So that was for CW. That experience was crazy. You know how it is. I mean, the day you arrive on set is like, wow, this is great. This is my job today. Like I get to just do this. So
were you a comic book fan?
Yeah, you know what? I've always been interested in comics. I wouldn't say that I was like a diehard comic book fan.
Right.
I've always appreciated comics. I think growing up, one of my favorite comics was Static Shock. I don't know if you
love Static Shock.
Yeah, Static Shock was my go-to back in the day.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't made a movie yet. I know they had a cartoon.
Yeah, but I heard that there was something in the works, but I don't know. But if they do Static Shock, if a movie is coming and it's in the works, I definitely would love to be a part of that.
You need on that. We need to start an online petition to get you on that. Right? A series would be even better.
I know.
I mean, that seems like a good show for the CW or HBO Max. I do all these.
I can see it. I can see it in either world. I feel like, I feel like each entity will have a different depiction of it, but you're still going to get an authentic representation.
Yeah.
Especially when you add that real life drama that combined with the special effects is going to be crazy.
Yeah. The only issue with the CW is, it's going to have a lot of teen angst if the CW does.
So I mean that's the thing, right? So if it's on HBO, then Static Shock might be you can probably get away with some different things.
Yeah, well that's it. You won't have all the love triangles and angsty teen stuff.
Every story has some type of love. There's love in every story.
That's true. That's true.
Right?
Yeah, that is true. You were in a movie called Maya and Her Lover.
Yes, I was. Did you get a chance to watch it?
I haven't seen this one yet, but I want to see it. So are you the lover?
I am the lover. I'm the male lead in that film. I play a character named Kaseem. He's a younger gentleman. He had a troubled past, and he's really on this self-discovery journey. Trying to figure things out, and he comes across this more mature woman, Maya. And both of their lives take a turn. And it's basically a modern day love story, but it takes place in Brooklyn, New York. So it's really authentic. And I appreciated that film, and a lot of people really enjoy it.
Yeah, I've heard really good things about it. I think we're going to, my wife and I, we're going to do that one as a date night movie.
Nice. Yeah, that's definitely something that's been on since it was in American Black Film Festival. A lot of people have mentioned that that's their go-to date night movie so far. So
Yeah. Who was the actress playing Maya?
Ashanti Jera. Yeah. She's a really strong actress. She's actually on a national tour right now for a musical, the Prom musical. So yeah, she's a really strong actress. You heard of that one?
I've heard of that one. Yeah.
And it was directed by Nicole Sylvester. Really, she's a great writer, strong director. She's one of those directors. You know what I mean? It's great to work with.
Yeah, that's pretty great. That's pretty great. And didn't you also play like a love interest for Jordana Brewster?
Yeah. We did a film.
Nightcast.
What was that? It's funny. That character was literally like the polar opposite of Kaseem in Maya and Her Lover, right? So the character in that film, On Our Way, he's a little bit more mature of a gentleman. He's very well established, and as you mentioned, I played Jordana Brewster's love interest, and they meet at a point in the film where the characters, specifically her character, needs a fresh start and needs something different. And it's just a beautiful story. It's a beautiful story. It's in festivals now, and I know there's some news for it later on this year. So On Our Way is definitely something you should keep an eye out for.
Yeah, for sure. The festival route, fun. That's a great way to take a film, before it kind of hits a wider audience. I love the festival route. It's just a lot of fun.
It is, for sure. I'm actually we're screening in Italy next month.
No way.
Yeah, the film is screening in Italy the next month.
Have you been to Italy before?
Not yet, but who knows? It looks like it might be a possibility.
Yeah, you should try to go.
Yeah, where would you recommend? What part?
Oh, I haven't been yet either.
Oh, no?
So we were supposed to go. My brother was living in Wiesbaden, Germany. He's working for the government, and it's near Frankfurt. Everybody knows where Frankfurt is. So we were going. That was 2020. So we didn't get to go, and now he's home. He was over there for a couple of years, and we didn't get to go. But that was,
you know what, man?
That was the plan.
Michael, everything happens for a reason, man. Everything happens for a reason. So you'll get to go again when the time is right. Yeah,
we're getting over there because we were going to go and then bounce around Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you a quick. It's kind of a funny side story. So my wife works for Live Nation, and there was a period of time where she worked for this woman whose last name was Schwimmer.
Okay.
And she's in LA. So I asked my wife, I was like, well, is she related to David Schwimmer? And she's like, no, she's not related to David Schwimmer. And I was like, okay. Well, she got invited over to her house for a party one night when she was out in LA. And she calls me and she's like, there's pictures of David Schwimmer all over the house. It's his sister. It's his sister. So she's married to an Italian gentleman. And they've got a vineyard he has a vineyard over in Italy. So they invited us to come stay with them at their vineyard. So we were going to go to Germany, and then we were going to go stay at the vineyard. So we have to go back. That's too big of a trip not to go.
Make sure you let me know. I want to hear about the trip. So I'm expecting to hear from you. Like, Shomari, I went to Italy. It was phenomenal. This is the vineyard you should visit. So I'm expecting to hear from you.
All right. That's a deal. Because now we're kind of targeting next summer. We're going to try it again.
There we go.
Next summer, and we'll see.
Speaking of the summer, man, we're heating up now.
Oh my God.
The best month is coming. The best month is coming.
Yeah. Oh, July is the best month.
Of course.
Because May, it's just yard work, trying to get everything ready. And then June, it's just, I don't know, you're not quite there yet. You're not in stride. Yeah. And then July, that's the month. August, too hot. July's the month.
August is the cool down. That's when it's time to cool down. Like, you stay inside.
So I want to talk about this new movie you've got. So it's Take the Night, and it comes out like the first week of July, right?
It actually does. It comes out July 8th. Yeah.
Yeah. Tell me about this one, because I read a little about it, and it sounds awesome. Sounds like one we would like to go see.
Man, this movie, oh man,
sounds kind of hilarious. I don't know if it's a comedy, but it sounds like a comedy.
No, you know what it is? Listen, when you tragedies have comedy in them.
Yeah.
Every story has an element of comedy in it. It's not a comedy, but there are so many authentic moments that the average person will find funny.
Yes.
It's actually a thriller. It's a thriller, and
okay.
It's technically what you would call a heist film, and it just tells so many different stories. But what I love the most about this movie is that it shows the human side and the everyday relatability of so many people.
Yeah.
Like, I think anyone that watches this movie can relate to it. My character in the movie is this guy named Shannon. He's the person that anyone who's ever been back against the wall, down and out, doesn't know what their next step is, doesn't know how they're going to overcome this situation, but is determined to figure it out. Shannon is the person that you're going to relate to in that movie.
All right. Sure. All right. So is he on the wrong side of the law, but lovable?
Yeah. If you ask him if he's one of the bad guys, he's one of the bad guys. My crew is the crew that does the job.
All right. Yeah. Well, you know, the first word of the description that I read was prank. So I was like, oh, comedy.
You know what? That's funny, right? Because a prank may be funny to someone, but to certain people it's not. And that certainly was the case in this film. Yeah. That was certainly the case in this film. I won't give away too much, but
yeah, see, thriller, that's more my thing anyway. I'm in on that. But if it's a thriller with a little bit of, you know, humor in it, okay, that's even better.
Good. As long as we got your vote, man. I can't wait for you to tell me how you like the movie.
Now, is it going to be like, is it hitting theaters or is it on a streamer?
No, for sure. On July 8th, we'll be in theaters across the country. A few different select theaters actually. So, and then after, I believe, I don't know the exact date, but shortly after it'll be available streaming and on demand.
See, I think if we're close enough to where we can go to theater, we'll go to theater. But if we can't, then we do like movie nights here at our studio, and we'll bring in 15, 20 people and kind of stream, you know, movies, especially ones where I've had guests on the show. So if we don't get to go to theater, then we'll stream it here at the studio, and I'll send you some pictures of that, because we'll get a group in here watching it.
Please do, man. That sounds great. Also, either way, you guys get together and watch it. Tag me in it. I love to hear everyone's feedback, man. I think you guys will enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. Movies are so funny now because it's completely changed how they're released. You know, and it's just different. I personally, I think it's better because you get access to more movies quicker.
Yeah,
they're not out at the theater for as long. You know, they come to the streamers. So I kind of like it, but I'm not sure that everybody would agree with that.
But you know what? You make a valid point. You get access to more movies quicker, you know, as a person watching it. And then on the other end as well, more people have access to it if it's available online, you know? So
yeah. I think when I was growing up, and this was back in the 80s, you know, the movie theater would get a movie. They might keep it for months or even a year. Like I remember Raiders of the Lost Ark. It was there for like 2 years at our local theater.
What?
I probably saw that movie 15 times.
Wow.
Yeah, they don't do that anymore.
I remember movies being on for a while, but a year was a lot.
It's a long time. And now when I was younger, I loved it because I loved that movie. Right. Yeah, let's go again.
And then movies they were way cheaper back then also.
You could get into the movie, popcorn and a soda for like $6 or $7.
Wow.
When I was younger, it was like $3 to get in the movie and probably a couple bucks for a soda and a popcorn.
You know what, Michael? I actually remember one of the first movies I went to as like a teenager. I think the ticket was about $8, $9 at the time. Yeah. That was a good time.
I know, not anymore. Of course, you know, when I first got my driver's license, gas was 75 cents a gallon.
What? How much? Repeat that.
75 cents a gallon.
Wow.
Like I remember digging around under my car seats to get change to buy gas.
Wow. What was your first ride? You remember?
Listen, I saved up $1,000 and this was in, I don't know, it's probably mid 80s, bought a 78 Malibu. It was a big car, too big, but it was a big car. I had it for like 3 days and wrecked it.
Dang.
It's even worse than that. So I got it. I got the car. I got a job. Mm-hmm. So I just started this job. I thought it was big time. My parents and my younger brother went to Myrtle Beach, and I didn't go with them because I just started this job. I was like 16 years old. So I started this job. So I stayed home. So 3 days into their trip, I totaled my car. I was fine. Totaled the car. It was only worth $1,000. I totaled it. So while they're at Myrtle Beach, they got picked to be in this movie called Shag that had Phoebe Cates and Bridget Foster. And it's a pretty good movie. So they were background actors in this movie while my dumb ass is at home wrecking my car.
Wow. That's a funny story, man. That's a funny story.
They still show that movie sometimes, and every time it comes on, I get upset. Every time I see my younger brother walking around in the background of that movie, I'm like, daggone it.
That was my shot. That was my chance.
And I'm up here. Well, I'll tell you what. You know what the job was? I was working at a comic book store that was here. I was like, I can't give that job up.
So what's your favorite comic all time?
Growing up, when I was real young, it was Richie Rich. But then as I got older, I loved Richie Rich. But then as I got older, it was Spider-Man. I was a big Spider-Man guy.
Okay.
I like the Teen Titans too. like if you want DC, I was Teen Titans, Marvel, and Spider-Man.
Man, why would you bring that up, man? I actually, when they came out with they came out with their version of Titans, like Doom Patrol.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually auditioned for the Cyborg character.
Oh, you'd have made a great Cyborg. Not that the one they got wasn't good, but you'd have been great. No,
he's good. Yeah, man. Yeah. Thank you. I thought I had that. I said, whoa, Teen Titans, Cyborg, Vic? Nah, this is me. Man. I gotta get that. I was like, let me pack up all my things. I'm moving. This is it.
Yeah, that'd have been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was a big and so the happy ending to this terrible, tragic story that I just told was eventually I bought that comic book store. So then that store, and then I opened another store close to the college I went to, and that's how I put myself through college. So it worked out.
What? Did it? I mean, come on. That's a dream come true right there.
That was it. I'll tell you, as a single college guy, best job ever. But then I got married and started to have a family. Not the best job.
Not the best
Not
job.
enough money to support the family on. It's good enough for me.
Yeah.
But so then Marvel 1996, I'm telling you way too much, but Marvel 1996 went bankrupt, if you can believe that. And I was like, It's over. So then I cashed out at that point. And then, of course, a couple of years later, Marvel comes back bigger than ever.
It's Marvel, so that's why it's hard to believe that they even went bankrupt. But
I know they did. That's why all their movies are spread among all the different studios because they sold that stuff off.
Okay. Good to know.
Yeah, and then the real end of the story is I always felt bad because I never got to share, the comic book stuff with my son, who's way into that stuff. So that's why we started the podcast. We wanted to share the nerdy stuff together. So we started the podcast. And now he handles all the editing, and he doesn't like being on camera. So he handles all the editing and the hard stuff. And I get on here and do all the talking.
That's dope. But it's nice that you guys are able to share that experience, man. It's pretty cool.
It has. It's been pretty great. Pretty great. Nice. So Shomari, this has been terrific. What else do you have going on? Because I know you're out there hustling and stuff. Anything else you're working on that we can kind of keep an eye out for?
Yeah, man. I have a few more things in the pipeline. I'm not at liberty to discuss too many details as yet, but I will be recurring on a series later on this year. So stay
Oh,
tuned
that's
for that.
awesome. What's the genre of the series?
It's drama.
Ooh,
It's drama.
very nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, I know how that goes. You can't tell beforehand. You get in trouble.
I know. It's like, you can't say anything. The people who are asking, they generally want to know so they can watch it and support it, but can't say anything yet.
Well, so I'm assuming when it gets to the point that you can talk about it, you'll put that out on social media. So where can we find you on social media?
Yeah, man. So you can find me on Instagram. It's at Shomari Love. Everything
Yeah.
is spelled as is my name. That's where I'm most active. So that's where
That's
the
the
news will
best
be.
one. Don't you think that's the best one? It's the nicest one.
Yeah, I think out of all of the different platforms, I engage with that one the most. Yeah, the feel of it, everything, it's pretty smooth.
Yeah. No TikTok.
No, I don't really see it. This is the thing. So Instagram is my go-to, but I do try to limit how much I use the social media because that thing can get time
Smart.
consuming. So
Oh yeah.
I won't even go down the list of the other social media stuff. I try to stay away.
It's like video games. It's a
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
But
You look
you
up
could
in an
do a
hour
good.
pass.
I'm saying this as a guy that can't do TikTok at all, but you could do a good TikTok because you could get on there and play the different types of drums.
That's actually a cool idea. I never thought about that.
Yeah, people would watch that.
Okay, I never thought about that. I'll consider it. But Michael, the goal is to keep me off of the social media.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get you on it.
Right? But you know what? Hey, it may be something to consider. Who knows?
So I've got okay. So I forgot before we go. So you've done some directing. So you did a short film called Pulse. So tell me about that. What had you always wanted to direct, or did that happen because of something?
Yeah. So great question. The opportunity came to me by way of one of my friends and colleagues. He had this idea, and I had directed a short prior to that, and I've done work in production throughout the years as well on that side of the camera. So I had some experience, but in terms of wanting to direct, I always looked at it like, if I'm going to be a part of something, I want to make sure that the other people that are part of it, they get the best experience and that the final product has all of the right pieces it needs to tell the story in the right way.
Yeah.
Right. And then also like all of these directors that you look up to throughout time, it's like these people have produced such great bodies of work. And if I'm going to at least learn or try to learn to get to that level, I got to try it on my own at least one time. Right. And it was able to work out. We had a good team and we were able to get into a few festivals. And the story was basically about two half brothers. And I actually was in the film as well. And one of the brothers he's like a real street smart character, but he got into some issues with business, and he puts his brother in a situation where he's stuck between making the decision of choosing his brother to bail out or taking care of his child who is sick. So it was an interesting story, but it's a real life story because that stuff happens.
Yeah, absolutely it does. So was Shomari the director hard on Shomari the actor?
Sorry, what was that?
So were you as a director hard on yourself as an actor?
Man, that's funny that you asked that. We did this scene. We had like this, I don't know, it was like a 3-4 page scene, but back and forth. And in my mind, this was a conversation between Denzel Washington and Forrest Whitaker. Like this, if they were to sit down and have this same scene, this scene would be so flawless and so beautifully crafted that when I sat in that seat, whenever the angle switched, so we did like a close-up for ISO, it just had to be perfect, right? So I found myself saying, all right, it was a good take. Everyone loved it. No, let's do it again. Let's do it again.
Do you plan to do more of that in the future?
I hope so.
Yeah. Do you write as well?
So I'm not gonna. I can't even take credit and take that. That is a different skill set, man.
Yeah, it is.
And the people that have the ability to do it are truly gifted. I can because I have a lot of ideas and I can put them down. But in order to craft it the way that I think it deserves to be crafted, I won't call myself a writer. Nah, I'm not gonna call myself a writer.
Yeah, see, I get that though. So you can come up with the idea, maybe get it on paper, but to really make it into a story, I get that. That's the hard part.
You're right, right. I got to collaborate with someone else, and I don't mind. Like, it's fine. I'm a team player, so let's work together on it. I mean, the idea that I come up with, I know exactly what I want it to look like. I know exactly the outline. I can do an outline any day.
Yeah.
You know,
it's the details.
It's the details. It's the dialogue. It's those specific iterations, the scene description, all of that stuff.
So okay. So I've got your next. This is your next big role. All right. Before we wrap up, and we'll pitch it to you. Now I can't write it, and if you can't write it, then we're gonna have to bring in somebody else to write it. Maybe you can direct it and star in it.
All right, let's talk.
All right. So you're a ex-college volleyball player. Right. So you were like a star, but you got hurt. You couldn't play anymore. Okay. So you became a volleyball coach, but you were terrible at it. You know, you just couldn't translate being a player to a coach. You're just terrible at it. So you end up losing that job, and you're down on your luck, and you're just depressed, and it's just a mess, and you accidentally fall into solving crime.
I thought you were going to say I accidentally fell into some type of radioactive that and then got some type of superpower. But I mean, crime solving, we can keep it simple. Crime solving is pretty simple.
I'd be okay if we want to switch it up, make it into a superhero show. I'd be okay with that.
You know what? And I think what even make it more interesting is that this guy's a volleyball coach, but he's not a regular coach. Somehow he gets the opportunity to coach like a national team, right? And then he realizes that he's not as good as a national volleyball coach, but he crosses heads with some type of international criminals, and he ends up solving crime on an international.
Okay, there you go. There you go. That's even better.
There you go.
There's something there. We could do something with that. At worst, that's a Netflix movie, I think.
At worst, right? And that's not a bad place to be.
That's not a bad place to be.
We'll talk about
Shomari, sure. Thank you so much for doing this. I knew it was going to be fun. I love you as an actor. I think you're so talented. Really appreciate you taking some time with me.
Thank you very much, man. It was a pleasure, and I'm looking forward to speaking to you again, man.
Yeah, you have to come back. You got to come back and talk about these other projects. And I got to tell you about this, trip to Italy if we ever get to go.
There we go. It's a plan. Let's do it.
Yeah, it's a plan. All right. Hold on one second. That was the talented Shomari Love. Such a fan of his. I can't believe I said Chi, but he straightened me up. So we got that straightened out. It was pretty funny, though. It's pretty funny. As you know, I am constantly messing that stuff up. And I love that show. Such a good show. I hope, despite that, you guys love the interview, because he's such a talented actor. Can't wait to see Take the Night. I think he's going to be terrific in it. Keep an eye out for it. Should be in theaters and then released on the streamers. Theaters July 8th, streamers shortly thereafter. So keep an eye out for that. Take the Night. If you haven't done so yet, you could really help us out by subscribing to our YouTube channel, MeisterCon Pod. We're trying to grow those numbers so we can keep bringing these terrific guests onto the show. You can find, I can't believe it, but today we posted our 408th episode. So there's 400 plus interviews that you can find. There's so many good people. You can get all of those audio and video on our website, meistercon.com. It has a fun, geeky, really well-written blog from Brett. The last, I think, article that we posted was about Doctor Strange, so you can check that out. If we're doing anything in studio, like watching Take the Night, or if we're going on location, or if we're covering a convention, all of that will be on there, meistercon.com. So definitely check that out. Thank you guys so much. Until next time, bye, everybody.